Well, hello, and welcome to the PJH Writing Command Center for another podcast episode from God Bless the Keg Publishing, LLC. Woohoo! And I am John Hausleben of God Bless the Keg Publishing, LLC. I am the flagship author, chief photographer, music reviewer, music critic, podcast host, and kind of do everything guy here, front of the house, back of the house, and in the middle of the house for God Bless the Keg Publishing LLC with a little help from my friends. Yes, indeedy, and the friends are here today gathered for this podcast episode, and I'm proud to announce it's not a bajillion degrees in Central Virginia today. It's very humid, very overcast, but at least it's only about let's see what the weather station guy is saying, about 80 degrees, which is still about 40 degrees too much for Paulie. I can't wait for the winter. I just can't wait for the winter. And I just finished the winter collection, a collection of short stories. I have the spring collection, I have the summer collection, I have the autumn collection, and then I have Reflections, the Christmas collection. So for years, I tried to pawn that off as being the winter. And it is, but it's not. It's Christmas. And, you know, I kind of fudged that for years. And somebody said that to me one day, and then it stuck in my mind. They're like, hey, Paulie, you don't have a winter collection. I said, well, I got the Christmas collection, you know, Reflections. And he's like, hey, yeah, that's Christmas. You don't have a winter collection. And I was like, this guy's right. That's a done deal now. And I think we're looking at maybe a 1st of September release. And I mean, that's arbitrary. I'm working on it. Just yesterday, I got this idea, and I added a quick bunch of thoughts, a little short blurb to the end of the book. So I never can stop fiddling with stuff. But at any rate, hey, if you're a first-time tuner-inner, then welcome. If you're a long-time listener, a subscriber, a reader of the books, a follower of Paulie, and God Bless the Keg Publishing LLC, well, then welcome back. And either way, we're just thrilled you're here to join us for this podcast episode. Now, some of the friends heard that this is going to be kind of like a sports rant / technology rant. So one of them tried to sneak in the drawer over here and get Frankie T's Paulie Dart Gun, Tranquilizer Dart Gun that Frankie T uses during a podcast to calm me down, especially about stand-up goalies. And I say, you're not authorized to use that. That's a Frankie T weapon. You got to calm down now here. So the friends are in good shape. But before we get too deep into this, so we got to get our little Orphan Annie decoder pins out, because Christmas in July is coming. I got to do something for Christmas in July. What? Maybe I'll read a Christmas story. Yeah. I don't know where that came from, but anyway, I'll research that. This podcast is proudly sponsored by Corporate Facilities Group Incorporated, the leader in technical consulting, facilities maintenance, facility management, and operations, as well as property maintenance and management services throughout America. And now, CFG Incorporated is proud to announce a new department, a new initiative, headed up by the amazing Mr. Steve McMillan. Let's give it up for old Steve Arooski. And Steve brings his many years. He's knocking it out of the park. Steve is knocking it out of the park, doing a great job. Steve brings his many years of experience as he manages pre-construction services and estimating for residential development, residential renovations, and light commercial projects for CFG Incorporated. So, before you spend big bucks on a project, don't get snookered out there. There's a lot of snookering going on. Let old Steve Arooski check out the contractor scope and price to make sure your hard-earned money is going in exactly the right place. Check them out on the web at www.corporatefacilitiesgroup1.com. That's www.corporatefacilitiesgroup1.com. And many thanks to Lydia, Steve, and Liliana, some of the dogs, Smokey the kitty cat, and CFG. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you sponsoring the podcast. Thank you. And I do not have any special events, charity events, or any not-for-profit events to mention this week, Please be cognizant. It is, for the most part, a weekly podcast, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But please be cognizant of that when you send me in any information that you would like Paulie to announce on the podcast. And if you have any questions, comments, any events, any correspondence, the email address is godblessthekegpublishing@gmail.com. godblessthekegpublishing@gmail.com. We do read the emails at least, we try once a week, maybe twice a week, and try to answer everyone. So we appreciate anyone sending in any comments, any reviews on the streaming sites is greatly appreciated. Anything. If you say I'm crazy, give me a thumbs down, thumbs up, whatever. I'm from Paterson, New Jersey. You're not going to hurt my feelings. At any rate, so I'd also like to announce that about a week or so ago, with the 4th of July and everything going on and the incredible heat we had, oh my goodness, the 4th of July, the heat was it was unbelievable. I mean, I had 106 on a little weather station guy here, and with the heat index, it was 122. And all the events that, if you listen to the 4th of July special podcast, all the fireworks were canceled here, as they were in a lot of places. Heat was not just here in Central Virginia, and all the events, for the most part, were canceled. It was tough. Oh, and it was very Twilight Zone-like. I mean, it was kind of bizarre, because I would look out the window and, air conditioning is struggling to keep up. It's a little bit beyond the capabilities of the air conditioning at this point. It's a maximum design day, that's for sure. But you wouldn't see anybody outside. There weren't even any cars. You see a guy walking his doggy or something, and he's like, hurry up, and he run right back in the house. And the dog was more than happy to go back in too. So it was a rough one. But about a week or so before 4th of July, I'm proud to announce that God Bless the Keg Publishing LLC published a children's book. It's a really cute little children's book for the kiddies. It's called Dexy's Busy Day by Chelsea E. Paceller is the author. And Chelsea came to Paulie and God Bless Keg Publishing LLC, asked us to help her publish this and put this together. And she had a really cool artist who did all the artwork, and she wrote a real cute story. It's about a little pet dragon guy. I guess it's a girl. Everything in New Jersey's a guy. But anyway, it's a little bearded dragon or something. But it's really cute, really fun. And Paulie did all the formatting on it and did all the interior work on it, and we got it published. So check it out. If you got little kiddies, I'm sure they'll really enjoy it. It's all full color, really colorful pictures for the kids to look at. And it's a lot of fun. I think it's available on all the major book sites. So that's Dexy's Busy Day, Chelsea E. Paceller, and it is published by God Bless the Keg Publishing. So congratulations to Chelsea for putting together a fantastic little book for the kids. It's something to be very, very proud of. Really is. As many books as I've put together and published, and I want to say the winter collection will be, I think 57 or 58. But publications. But, no matter how many times you do it, you still get a thrill. It's amazing. It's wonderful to create and share. And God Bless Keg Publishing LLC loves to support the indies, independent artists of all type, musicians, and we've published lyrics over the years, and we've done, obviously the photography that Paulie does, and Callie Rose and Amber and a couple other photographers we work with, and we got their work up on the portfolio sites. And it's just amazing to work with all these fantastically talented indie folks who fly under the radar with the big guys. And it's wonderful. Really makes my heart happy. I enjoy that aspect. I really do. And one other follow-up, if you listen to the 4th of July podcast, and I had a number of folks ask me too, I participated in a ham radio event, special event, the 13 Original Colonies special event which occurs every 4th of July holiday over the span of a few days. And they've opened it up to more days where you go on the air, ham radio operators activate the 13 original colonies, and you try to contact all 13, and you get this really cool certificate. You get a certificate even if you just contact one station, but, it's nice to get them all. And pretty much every year, I've been getting them all. A couple of years, I don't. Well, this year, Paulie struck out. I got 12. Boo. I could not get Rhode Island this year. I just could not get Rhode Island. Heard them on air a number of times, and radio propagation just wasn't working in my favor. And with some of the technology you have, you can see your signals, and I was either skipping over Rhode Island and that portion of New England, and no matter what frequency I tried, or I was not getting there, or I was going out west rather than going northeast. It was just not to be, but we enjoyed it. We got the 12 colonies, and we got the special event station at Independence Hall in Philadelphia. So I'm very proud of the effort this year from Whiskey Alpha to Alpha Sierra, Quebec, and it was a blast. Already looking forward to next year. I'll get a different strategy. So after all this stuff going on and the heat waves and busy at my primary source of income and crazy stuff happening and then, what I do for God Bless the Cake Publishing LLC. In the meantime, the World Cup's going on. So this is going to be a rant. Now we're into it. We had 12 minutes. That wasn't too bad for me. I usually go around the world a couple times. I try to keep these podcasts to about 40, 45 minutes. I keep overshooting. But at any rate, the World Cup, this mega event. And I love football, association football, Premier League. Nottingham Forest is our home city on me mom's side, and Gramps, my grandfather, my English grandfather, my grandmother. Gramps is from. That's a situation that is under dispute because my grandmother, everybody was right from the city of Nottingham, but Gramps always said he was born in Long Eaton, which is just on the outskirts. And then very late in his life, we were talking one night and having a couple beers together. He says, Paulie, I was really born in Beeston. Which is another little enclave. I was like, what? He says, yeah, I was really born in Beeston. I wasn't born in Long Eaton. He was born on a kitchen table in 1900. So yeah, I was like, okay, Gramps. You waited like 92 years to tell us this. So, and I don't even know if he had a birth certificate. I think he had an entry in the family Bible. The Church of England Bible. But at any rate, so Nottingham Forest is our home city football club, association football, Premier League. They made it back to the Premier League in 2022. So I watch a lot of football. And the World Cup, unfortunately, is so many matches and didn't get a lot of chance to watch a lot of them. And I know they're appealing to people all over the world. And this World Cup is being held in the United States, Mexico, Canada. North America is the host for this year's World Cup competition. I didn't get a chance to watch a lot of the matches, but I would watch the clips and look at the scores and everything. And then as it whittled down, the matches get tighter and the time frames are better. Still not great for a guy that has to get up at 3:30 in the morning. But at any rate, we made it work. And of course, the hype started. And it's here, America, hype capital of the world, the media frenzy and the pundits. And I'm used to that. The pundits over in the UK are brutal, but it's a different type of overhype here. And it's been on the Fox network for the most part. And I'm not really fond of any of the hosts. I like Rebecca. She's great. But the rest of them, I don't know. They're bordering on the ding-dong category. I mean, talk. And some of the announcing, there's one chap on there who just yaps on the color commentary. Just stop talking. Take a lesson from like Ian Wright and some of the great announcers over in the UK. And you know, they'll announce, like the play-by-play guy will say, you know, there's a pass up there's a cross up to Joe, and then there's this and that. And then there's quiet. And they just kind of let the action go. And every once in a while, the color commentator yaps in there with something, some observation. But no, not on this. This guy never shuts up. He just yap. And I get that he's a homer. And I love that. I mean, yeah, I listened to the Yankees for years and years and years, and no one was more of a homer on announcing than Phil Rizzuto. And John Sterling, too, Susan Wallman. I mean, you can't help it. And that's part of the magic. Not as bad as that guy for the Boston Bruins that finally retired. Oh, my gosh. You talk about a homer. But at any rate, in hockey on the New England network. But stop talking. And he's just going on and on about the USA. And this is the year, and this is that. Well, you know, I would love USA to win. I mean, you know, I'm an American. I have the half English heritage, and I'm rooting for England, too. I mean, my mom would be mad. But primary team, of course, was the United States. But I know football. I'm not some kind of expert, but I know the sport. I know hockey inside and out, and I know baseball, and I suffer with the New York Jets, you know, and some fans are just as skilled and expert in the sport of watching these sports over these many years. And when you get old, you've seen a lot of games, you've seen a lot of matches. And I think the USA was like the 16th or 17th ranked team in the World Cup. Honestly, they have a couple great players, a couple good players, but they're just not that good. I gotta call it as I see it. They're a quality club and everything, but they're not there yet. They're just not there yet. And in my opinion, the primary athletes in America tend to go to play other sports. The more skilled athletes, they go to the football, or they go to the basketball. And the soccer, it's come, as it's called in America, it's come a long, long way. And certainly there's great players, but it's not on that level yet. And this guy is going on and on and on. It's just awful announcing. And they had an own goal. So USA benefited from an own goal in one of the matches, and they moved on. And I watched one of the matches, and I was like, they're just not that good. They're good, but they're getting a lot of breaks, some questionable refereeing, which we're going to get to in a minute. And they moved on. And he had this statement after they beat Paraguay. They beat Paraguay. Okay, that's great. That's wonderful. To win a match is very difficult. And he says, do I think America can win the World Cup? Yes, I do. Paraguay had no answers for us. I was like, okay, well, you know, Norway's coming with Haaland, and Argentina's coming with Messi, and England's coming with Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham, and I think they're going to have some answers. And I get that you're a zealous fan and you want the USA to do good, but you got to be realistic when you're announcing to a certain extent. And I was like, what is this guy talking about here? I mean, come on. Yeah, it's a rant. Oh my gosh. But then the real craziness started. And it's a shame on the world stage like this that they can't, the officials, the big guys, the guys running everything, can't get their act together and can't make these matches not have controversy. Put officials out there that make sense. Use this crazy technology consistently, and the officiating and the decision-making, it just boggles my mind that in something so fantastic as the World Cup, there has to be all this craziness. So we get this match with the USA, right? So, you know, I'm not going to get into the political thing of it, but That's something that is relevant, but in Paulie's mind, it's irrelevant. I'm focusing on the sport aspect of this craziness done by the FIFA. And in a match with Bosnia-Herzegovina, the big star for America, I don't think he deserved a red card. It was not a malicious attack on the Bosnian Herzegovina player. They kind of collide. It's like, okay, two players collided very violently. And I looked at it and looked at it and looked at it. And I was like, I don't think he deserved a red card. I really didn't think he deserved a red card. But the referee went over and he looked at the crazy VAR. And, VAR... The original purpose of the VAR is so convoluted now and lost, like so much of this crazy technology and all this stuff that keeps removing the human aspect from everything. And that's technology in our workplace and all this stuff that's going on. There's something beautiful, the beautiful sport, and there's something beautiful about humans involved in making the decisions, the officials, the umpires, the referees, the linesmen, all these folks in all these sports. And now we keep entering all this technology. And I get that it's really cool and we can analyze stuff with AI and all this craziness. I mean, I've watched craziness in the Premier League, which has a lot of layers of questionable things going on. And, I'm not going to use the word corruption. I'm just going to call it questionable things going on. I mean, Nottingham Forest had a goal overturned when on offsides where the AI superimposed line and all this analyzation showed that the back of his heel and the knob of his elbow was offside. And they overturned a goal. This is a little too much now, folks. I mean, did that in the big picture of things really matter? Except maybe for a betting line? Maybe for a betting line? I don't think that mattered. I mean, he's not offside by a mile. I mean, it's the back of his heel and the knob of his elbow. Come on. But anyway, so in the Bosnian match, the big star, he gets a red card for America, and he gets sent off. And it's all this controversy. The VAR said, yeah, it's a red card. I agree with the on-the-field referee. And that's where it should be. It should stop on the field with the human being, the referee, as it has been for 100 years, 150 years, whatever they've been playing soccer/football. Just leave it to the humans. Now, if it's a gross thing, if it's, very, clear and obvious, that's something different. Or the referee falls down and he doesn't see something. But leave it to the official. But he called a red card. Okay, well, then that's the way it goes. And I've seen so many matches for Forest where the referee made errors, and there's no question they were errors, and the VAR made an error, and the VAR refused to intervene, or whatever. They're playing in Man City, and they get all the calls. It's just the truth. And 2 days after the match, and all of the Nottingham fans are in an uproar and bursting the pub doors apart and drinking gallons of beer to offset the wounds of the lost match. And then the head of officials for the Premier League comes out with a statement. And he says, well, we analyzed this and yakety smackety doo-dah. And the referee made a mistake and the VAR made a mistake. We apologize to Nottingham. It should not have been a penalty, or it should not have been an overturned goal, or whatever the situation is. Since Forest has been back in the Premier League, I've seen that 5 or 6 times. And not just for Forest, other clubs too. But the decision is the decision. And they didn't give us our points back. They didn't say, it was a grievous error by the referee. Sorry, let's redo the match or overturn it or whatever. That doesn't happen. It's just, sorry, we made a mistake. And that's part of sports. And it has been forever. I played goal. I argued with referees and linesmen. Goals that I know I'm in the net and it didn't cross the goal line completely. We didn't have technology and I got robbed. I really made the save and they called it a goal. That happens. And you can get upset about it and protest and feel like you got, cheated, but you have to respect that's the call. So then a couple days later, supposedly the president makes a phone call or whatever to these big officials, and they magically come out and say the red card is null and void. He can play the next match. And I thought to myself, this is a mess. Now, it's fantastic for the USA because I don't think he really deserved a red card. But the on-the-field official made the call. It went to the VAR. They stuck up for the guy. Sorry, that's just the way it goes. That's just, and then you get the president intervening, and it just turns into a big mess. And I don't care if it was General George Washington was the president at the time. That's irrelevant. It shouldn't happen. And it enters this element of controversy into it. And then the Belgium team is in an uproar, and they're protesting, and they do an appeal, and of course the appeal is denied. And then you get to the match. And I watched that match from the kick to the end. And even with the big superstar guy playing for the USA had no chance. They had no chance to win that match. They were overwhelmed. Their big players didn't show up. It was not a competitive match. Belgium would move up the field systematically using a little triangle passes in a wing formation, just move up the wings. They did not have the USA did not have a competitive chance to win this match. Belgium systematically overwhelmed them and took them apart. And that yappy guy is going on and on and on. And I'm texting with my buddies, and it's like 3 minutes to go before added time, 3 minutes in the regular time. And this guy is still yapping, well, the USA has a chance. And my buddy's like, Paulie, you think that we can come back? I said, Pele could come play for us. And we ain't winning this match. It ain't happening. It's just not happening. And that's a shame. It's just a shame that something so great has to be tainted by all this ding-dong decision stuff. If the on-the-field ref and the VAR made the call, that's the way it should have been. And now come on. So even if the USA had won that match, then it would have been a tainted win, in my opinion. It would have been forever marred in controversy. So in the back of my mind, I said to a couple people, I'm kind of glad we lost that match. I'm kind of glad we got overwhelmed. And they're like, oh, you're not an American. You're rooting for England. Blah, blah. Well, no. That USA is my primary team. And because of my heritage, I have the English team too. But this win, if they had won that match, it'd have been a mess. And then you get to, so that's the USA mess. And then you get to the Egypt versus Argentina. Another mess. And I can't understand. You had the Croatian game where there's a sensor inside the soccer ball, and we'll get to that. There's some kind of electronic hoozy in there, and it just barely ticks on the shoulder of the Croatian player, and they pick this. They put a little waveform on the screen, and it detected. I mean, they showed 100 camera angles, and it looked like it might have touched, but the sensor guy registered the touch. So I know it was offside or something. And they changed it based upon the little blip on this waveform, like a radar screen, because the ball has a chip in it. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, folks. But they can't see these other things, right? They got all this crazy stuff, and they make these dopey decisions. You have the Egyptian player commits a foul. There's no question it was a foul. Way back in their own defensive end, Argentina was attacking, and he clearly steps on the Argentinian player's foot and steals the ball. It's a clear and obvious foul. But the Egyptian player, the referee doesn't see it. The referee doesn't call it. It's the on-the-field ref, and maybe he was looking a different way or whatever. In his opinion, it was not a foul. And Egypt captures the ball. They work their way up the pitch. They make one or two passes. No Argentina player touches the ball. And lo and behold, they pass it over a guy and he bashes it into the net for a goal. And, Egypt jumping around and everything because, of course, Argentina is number one team. And they're playing them so tough and playing a great match. And all of a sudden, and of course, the VAR, and they whistle down, and the guy goes over to the screen, and he makes the little thing with his hands, and he's going to go look at the screen, and they look at 200 camera angles. And because Argentina never touched the ball, it was moved up the pitch by Egypt with the Egypt to Egypt players. The rule is technically correct. The goal is overturned because it should have been whistled at the foul where the foul occurred. But the referee didn't do that. So the VAR overturns it and Egypt goes nuts. And part of the problem was it wasn't whistled right away. And technically that's correct. Technically, the VAR was correct in overturning it because if the Argentina team had touched it, it would have been a different ball game. But they didn't. And it took so long for Egypt to go all the way down and making these fantastic passes. It was a beautiful goal. And it just seemed like it was absolute robbery for the Egyptian team. And your heart broke for them. They're playing the number one team. And the number one team's getting all the calls. Argentina was pushing off all match long, knocking Egyptian players down, obvious fouls, and nothing's getting called. And then VAR overturns this. Why can't they make more consistent and better decisions? Later on in the match, Argentina scored a goal, was very, very similar after a foul. And that goal counted. This is the World Cup, folks. This is like the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's like the Super Bowl, World Series. This is it, man. These players are representing their countries. It doesn't matter if they play for Man City or Nottingham Forest or Real Madrid or Munich, whatever. They're doing something for their own countries. And this is serious. They take it serious. And the fans and the supporters and all the good things that happen. The Scottish team drinking the brewery dry and the Norwegians rowing up the subway in New York and all the fun, happy, wonderful stuff has to be marred by this craziness. Be consistent. And to intervene and overturn a red card, it's just craziness. And the Egypt-Argentinian match was just tainted with all kinds of stuff. And then Egypt, their sidelines going nuts and the coaches are out in the field and they're all yelling at each other. And here comes the superstar for Argentina. Messi wanders over and he has to get in the ear of the Egyptian coach and say, "What are you so upset about?" I mean, what are you so upset about? I mean, come on. It's just crazy. So then last night, I'm recording this the night after England versus Norway. And once more, they have all this technology. And no question, I'm rooting for England. And just watching this match, and there's two incidents. One, I think was pretty obvious. The big superstar, Haaland, pushes Elliot Anderson, formerly of Nottingham Forest, who now joined Man City in the offseason. He obviously puts his two arms out. He's a big, giant, strong guy, and he pushes Elliot Anderson over, and so they call a foul. I thought that one was a good. I don't think Elliot Anderson embellished that at all. I think he really got squished, and it was on a corner, on a set piece. And but the real controversy, in my opinion, happened just before halftime, I believe, and the goalkeeper for Norway, he's a pretty strong guy, and he can punt the ball down the pitch. And he punts the ball, and it goes way high in the air. And it's quite obvious. It hits a cable for the sky cam thing that's suspended from wires up above the pitch. Why do you need that? I mean, you don't have enough angles. Why would you put something? This is like the ground rules for Fenway Park or some of the old baseball stadiums that are all odd and everything. You got to explain the little nuances if the ball hits the railing in the nook in the corner in the left field, blah, blah, blah. I get that. That's an old ballpark. But why? Why do we need these wires hanging down over the pitch to get some kind of crazy angle? You got all this other cameras and everything. So, and why does it have to be potentially where the ball could hit it? And that's what happened. And the ball dropped to Elliot Anderson, England, and he passed it up, and then Jude Bellingham scores. And all the Norwegian players and everybody's looking and pointing that it hit the cable. And apparently the rules are just like a referee. If it hits a referee or something, it has to be like a do-over. It's interference, unintentional. But we go back to the technology, right? So this chip hoozy inside the soccer ball can detect a blip, just a tap on the shoulder of the Croatian guy. But it can't put the waveform on there, and the VAR is looking at it, and they say, oh, the chip hoozy didn't detect it. Well, you don't need the chip hoozy. You can see it on the replay. Then everybody in the stadium's pointing at this thing. I mean, my gosh. And the goal counted, they didn't whistle it down, and they reviewed it and said the chip didn't detect it. And so more controversy. Why do these things have to happen on the biggest stage? Why can't they clean their act up and get it right and be consistent so that you don't have Egyptian teams going away thinking they got cheated and going home saddykins and all this other stuff that's gone on? The USA, the president gets it overturned. All this stuff taints what could be just a fantastic event. And I've enjoyed it despite all this. I just kind of rant about it. And one other question on the Norway-England match. And I get that everybody wants a big piece of the World Cup pie. And they want to get the local economy wants to get some dough. And all the hotels and all the beer and all the hot dogs and the snack foods and the transportation and the rent-a-cars and all the things and pomp and circumstance that goes on. Why do they have to play a match in Miami, Florida in July with Norwegian guys and Englishmen? It's a bajillion degrees. It's an absolute bajillion degrees. Heat, humidity. I mean, why? Why couldn't it have been in a dome stadium or something? And I get that they want to spread it around. You can't control the weather, but anybody's going to tell you. Ask the Miami Dolphins who have to practice and play in that. I mean, why? So now these players are wearing down, getting dehydrated, getting cramps. And for the team that moves on, the English team in this case, that takes a toll on you. That takes a physical toll. That takes a long time to recover. And I know I played hockey and you never thought I could sweat that much on ice with a mask on my face. It would run off the end of my mask like a river. 2 days later, I'm still feeling the effects of the game. Soreness, puck bruises, or maybe some stitches. But even if I came out unscathed, it still took a physical toll on me, like a march in the military. I mean, you got to do it, but they prep you, they teach you how to offset this stuff. Why? Why of all the places in America? And I get everybody wants a piece of the pie, but common sense would tell you this is going to be brutal. This is going to be absolutely horrible. And Harlan, he did the best he could, and he had to come out. He was just physically worn out. He's just walking up and down the pitch. He doesn't run that much to begin with. He runs when he has to, though. What a great player. And he's very fast for a big guy. But regardless, then now the superstar has to go out. It's just your body can only take that much. And the other thing I want to rant about, too, I have a lot of Moroccan friends. A lot of folks I've worked with over the years from Morocco. And they're huge soccer, football fans. And text with them and talk to them during the matches. And one fella I'm real close to. And they love the sport. And their team is very good. Their team has risen up to the upper echelon in the world. They play really well. They got a great football club. And congratulations to them. So it gets down where they have to play France. Ironically, they're joined at the hip forever. French Morocco and France. And here they have to play in this match. And I have a number of folks that I know from France. And I interviewed both of them, my Moroccan buddies and my French friends. And the first thing they said to me was, why on earth do we have to have an official from Argentina? The referee is Argentinian. Why? Why does the governing body make ding-dong decisions like this? And it turned out it was the Argentinian ref, in my opinion, I watched that whole match, did a great job. There was no controversy, thank goodness. But why put yourself into that position that it could potentially be tainted? Why? I mean, why not get an official from a team that didn't qualify for the World Cup or maybe is now eliminated from the tournament? I'm sure in Wales, who didn't make the World Cup this year, there's a bunch of qualified officials who are familiar with English Championship League. The Welsh teams are pretty prevalent in the Championship League in English football. Why? Why take the chance? You've had all this other crazy controversy. Why take the chance that there could be, we got robbed. He wants Argentina to win. All these situations, I have a new saying, I'm going to put it in a book I'm working on. These situations could be avoided. Much of these situations could have been avoided. Better decisions, a little common sense. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. So the first thing the French supporters said to me, yeah, we got an official from Argentina. You know how that's going to go. Messi gets all the calls. And my Moroccan buddies say this, and yep, I mean, he's from Argentina. Messi's going to get all the calls. I'm starting to feel a lot better now. Right, guys? Don't get the dart gun. Don't get the dart gun. What is otherwise just a grand event, something that everybody looks forward to, and the local bars have had folks watching that normally are just, rudimentary soccer fans or they're American football fans, and now they get wrapped up into it. And I was texting last night with a friend of mine, and she was asking me, why did this happen? Why did that happen? She's learning the beautiful game, and she's learning about football/soccer. And that's a wonderful thing. So I don't want to take away from that. And I'm hoping that the rest of the matches go smoother. But to a guy like me, who my dear mom always says, you're way too logical, Paulie. That's your problem. And so some of this logic I have is just something that I'm like, why? Why does this happen? Why? All these situations could be avoided, and don't even get me going with the technology now in baseball. That'll be a whole different rant. And then they'll get Frankie T with me for that one so he can tranquilize me. But my goodness gracious, now you got the automated balls and strikes. And, there's a lot of stuff I see, and you learn that the umpires are not too swift. Sometimes they're way off. Sometimes they're okay. So, yeah, I get it. But once more, you're removing all the human elements. And you allow these selfish baseball players with this technology they have now, because you only get the two challenges. You see, you get the two, and they tap their helmet, and the catcher can challenge, the pitcher can challenge. But the batter, in the first inning, the guy's tapping his helmet, and he's wrong. So now you're down to one. Why are you using the challenge in the first inning? I mean, this is just pure selfishness by the baseball player who's at bat for his team. Save it for later on. I've seen many games where in the later innings, they don't have any challenges left, and it was a clear and obvious ball or a strike should be overturned, whatever, and they don't have any challenge guys left. So now you get the egos into it. So something that could be good gets tainted again. Get rid of this technology. Don't even get me started on Aaron Boone and analytics. For 100 years in baseball, the cleanup hitter is the big guy. You put the runners on base, the big giant guy gets up and he hits a home run and you get more runs. Nope. Now the analytics say the number 2 batter should be the best hitter in the baseball team. And the problem is they all swing for the fences with their velocity and their trajectory and their analyzing of the swings. So no one's playing the small ball anymore. You know, get a guy on first, steal second, hit behind the runner, move him to third, sacrifice fly, you get a run. No, everybody's swinging for the fences. So the number 2 hitter gets up with nobody on base and hits a homer. So now you got 1 run instead of 3 or 4. And you would think with all these analytics and technology and all this stuff that they're using, the Yankees are heavy into the analytics. I mean, the other day, the catcher, Austin Wells, who's like mired in the worst slump in the history of baseball. He's a catcher for the New York Yankees, hitting like 150. And he magically hits 2 home runs. And we're like, oh, okay, he's coming out of this terrible slump. This is fantastic. So the analytics say he's a lefty batter. The analytics say that he doesn't do good on the pitchers in the next game. So they sit him. So Aaron Boone sits him on the bench. So any momentum he got is destroyed by the analytics. But you would think all these years of using this stuff on the Yankees, and they haven't won a championship. You would think somebody would raise their hand in a meeting and say, guys, we've been using this technology and this analytics, and we haven't won a single thing. Maybe it's time we go back to the old way. Once more, my logic. At any rate, so I feel better. Please enjoy the rest of the World Cup, and hopefully there won't be any more craziness and overturned red cards and balls hitting wires that shouldn't be there and all this madness. Or maybe I just won't focus on it anymore and just try to enjoy the matches. But I feel better. Put the humans back in the game. Put the technology on the shelf. It's just like this crazy AI stuff taking over the world. And I already had a rant about that. Maybe I'll revisit that subject. But anyway, I really appreciate you tuning in, listening to me rant and rave. And after all, you know, really, what do I know? I'm just a guy from Paterson, New Jersey. And I went over my time by a few minutes, but I almost made it. Unless you are talking about World Cup and technology and crazy stuff, hey, please be kind. Please be very gentle. Be very tolerant. Remember, kindness is for free. Spread it around as much as you can. It can only make this world a better place. And thank you so much for tuning in. Upcoming podcasts, we have Frankie T and Jeff, the musical wizard and the musical encyclopedia. Frankie T is on a little summer holiday, but he is returning. He's doing a road trip like Jack Kerouac. Him and his brother are riding across the country. His brother's a photographer, and they're taking all kinds of great pictures. I'm anxious to see what the photo shoot looks like. It's just fantastic stuff. I want to hear all the stories from Frankie T when he gets back. And we still have the great cousin Jack out there who's just had one disaster after another. We were going to record his podcast on conspiracy theories and UAPs and all that last Tuesday, and he got sick. Poor cousin Jack. He had a stomach virus. So we're still trying to get cousin Jack on here. But anyway, enjoy the World Cup. Don't let this rant make you focus on the technology. We will see you next time. Let me get the friends out of here. Friends, thank you. And bye-bye for now.